Okie dokie. This is my second video. I want again touch very recent events. Water sewage discharges into our sea. So probably you have seen such pictures. Sewage was discharged into sea. Quite murky. I know nothing about how such mud could be created from the Stony Beach, but yeah, maybe I don't know anything about this. So we have been told by sewage companies that water discharges, sewage discharges are because we have heavy rains. So just to remind you what happened in July, we have a heat wave, and in August we have 2 days of heavy rain. So we are told that this water is actually these discharges are 90% rainwater. Okay, so something I want to flag is if 2 days or 3 days of rain is unmanageable for our water companies, I am worried what will happen when actually we will have a issue with climate change because we will have a lot of extreme weather events, heat waves and rains. Uh, so if water slash sewage companies are not able to treat this water, uh, quote unquote rainwater, what will happen when we see such episode? This is a picture actually from last year, DLR London. It's probably around Stratford when cars and streets were flooded. This is London. It's Waterloo Station, for example. Sorry, Victoria Station, where we have the water. This is as well London.
Are almost submerged on the North Circular completely. They've had to smash the back window.
So yeah, you can see that this is not only one place in London; it's a whole town. Well, I wouldn't say flooded. It just a little bit water. Let's see what will happen when the climate change. We will struggle with much more. Yeah, all the places around London. It's just simply 10, 20, 60 centimeters of water. But that was last year. This year we have similar situation. This is actually because water pipe burst. It's a Holloway Road, which is Islington, and this is only to show you that this will go into our sewage system. And to remind you as well, sorry. Okay, so that will go into our sewage system, which will be later discharged if not treated. So our sewage consists of everything which was at particular moment on our streets. So dead cats, fox, rubbish, everything which was in our cemeteries. Um, it's not just rainwater, as they would like us to say. So this is a clip actually taken from Navarra. So when we in London were struggling with with the heavy rains and the flooding in Stratford, for example, that would happen in Germany.
That's caused by exceptionally
It's
high rainfall. There's a multiple
Michael
diversity
speaking in the
there.
background talking about most deadly flooding and natural disaster event for a long, long time. This is Germany. This is 2021. So we should expect this such stuff quite possible in UK. This is Asia. I'm not sure exactly where. Tube stations, yeah, which was actually correlated with the heat waves. So if we have a heat wave in UK in July, after that we have a heavy flooding. And yeah, this is what happened. It's happen. What happens around the world, and that's again Stratford underwater. Uh, so yeah, I'm not a climate expert, but I want to refer you to the report which was published 2017 by Dr. Tamzin Edwards about current and future impact on sea level on the UK. And this is quite important because I'm a big fan of Paul Robbins, who said if you cannot place climate change into your local circumstances, your condition, whatever is going around you, you will not understand it. So, and would like to focus on economic impact of the flooding. So it says 120 billion worth of infrastructure and coastal is at risk. Additional 10 billion are due coastal erosion. So if you live Bournemouth, probably you will not have the lovely train going up and down on a cliff. Uh, Probably some of the houses or pier can be flooded periodically from time to time. If you live Blackpool, that's North Lancashire, that means probably Blackpool Tower. It could be flooded periodically from time to time. At least much more water will be found on the seaside. And to place it into perspective, it says as well in London 45 billion or worth of assets would be currently exposed to a 1% annual chance of flooding. So you have quite what 1%. It seems quite small, but I show you the pictures from today, from recently from Waterloo, as well from Stratford. That it's very possible that will happen much more often than we think. And 45 billions, it's quite a lot of money. So we should think about it in context of Venice, which periodically is under the water. So imagine this is the Trafalgar Square, where just stop oil people protest to to get attention to the climate change. So Trafalgar Square actually is potentially, which is Westminster Borough, it's at risk This is the map actually. Coastal climate change. Uh, so this is 2015. So you can play around with this website. It's quite interesting. It shows us that huge piece part of London is at risk of flooding. Westminster, that's somewhere probably here, Trafalgar Square, so National Gallery, where you have Just Stop Oil people protesting at the moment. Uh, so yeah, I really would encourage you to play with this map to try to place. I put London into perspective because that's where I live. But yeah, that's where I live. So it's important for me to understand how the climate change, flooding, and sewage, rainwater that will let it turn into sewage will affect myself and the sea. And what I'm trying to flag here, the issue is related to the fact that if a small amount of the water is unmanageable for the water companies, just wonder what will happen in another 10 years, 8 years actually, when we will face much more extreme weather events, and yeah, how this will affect us. Uh, and what I'm trying to say as well is if currently water companies are quite easily going without any investment, or I guess not sufficient investment to retain the sewage water and then to treat it so it's not any longer sewage water, or at least it's not, as we are told by the bosses. Well, it's a rainwater, but we can see what kind of rainwater. Then we are in big trouble in 20 years because those guys will go in 20 years, 10 years with all profits, and they will say we cannot afford any more investment. So we will not be able to manage it at one go. So, yeah. So, whatever you think about water companies right now and sewage discharges and the all attention, such organization like Surface Against Sewage for 10, 15 years were trying to raise, then in another 10 years we will have a bigger problem. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. It's quite late for me, so it's enough of this rant. Let me know what you think, leave your comments.